And welcome back, everyone, to Who Would Win. Figure I'd get this out before I go to work. It's a pretty quick one. This one comes to us from Jordan Wilson, who asked the question, who would have fight Saiyan Saga Goku versus Thousand Year Blood War arc Yoruichi? Now, generally when it comes to Bleach characters versus Naruto characters, if you're Bleach characters versus Naruto, Dragon Ball Z characters versus Bleach characters, in terms of like power scaling, which power scaling, obviously, it exists. Tiers of power exist, but I feel like the community just gets up their own ass about it. Like, look, I fully believe there are Bleach characters that are multiversal level. You're only talking about your highest level characters, like your Soul Kings, your Yuas, maybe your Zero Divisions, maybe your Aizens as they are now, maybe Yamamoto and Kenpachi and Ichigo could theoretically be on that level tier, but it is the handful of characters out of Bleach. Whereas, actually, technically, it's only a handful of like the main cast too out of Dragon Ball. But there's clearly a bunch more, especially when you factor in every god of destruction, Zeno, Grand Priest, Goku, Vegeta, Frieza. Like, I acknowledge that the overall versal level of Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, and all that is higher than Bleach. Generally, I think there might be some exceptions you can make with like the highest of the high, but generally speaking, in terms of like your power scaling, I can see that to all the Dragon Ball fans 100%. But then when you start to scale back in Dragon Ball Z, go back to the earlier sagas where you didn't have Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan 2 or Super Saiyan in this case, and then you scale to the highest arcs, Thousand Year Blood War arc, or even like Cape Fear Own World, now you're dealing with a lot more of an even battlefield. So let's break this down as best as we can. Goku, we know Goku's story. It's a Superman story, actually, kind of. Just warped. It was destroyed by, although some versions of Krypton was destroyed by a villain. Point being, we know Goku at this point. So let's just talk about how strong Goku is at Saiyan level in Saiyan Saga. We know he had a base power level of right around 8,000. It is stated to be a little above, but generally speaking, every depiction is right around 8,000. His max output for the Kaioken at that point was 4, and that was wrecking his body. This brought his power level all the way up to 32,000, plus Kamehameha brought it up to about 40,000 altogether. Goku is capable of disappearing and reappearing in an instant. I will say, I don't know if they had hit light speeds at that point. Like, we are moving faster than the eye can see, 100%, but I don't know if that was light speed at that point. Let's, for the sake of argument, say it was somewhere in the low light speed. Once you get into, like, say, Namek, that's when you're basically going at light speeds. And beyond. Especially once you go into, like, late Dragon Ball Z and the Dragon Ball Super, then you're going well beyond light speeds. But Saiyan Saga, that's a little bit more difficult. But we can assume that it is at least close to light speed, if not a little beyond. Goku's physical strength is still insane. His endurance is insane. The man can take a beat. The man can always take a beating. Even Vegeta, I don't know if he can take as much beating as Goku is taking, and Vegeta's taking some beatings. Kid Buu, anyone? Man, that was a beating he took. But obviously his abilities go beyond that. He's a master martial artist, as we know. He obviously has ki at his disposal, standard ki blast plus the Kamehameha, his signature move. And he also has all the techniques he's learned under his belt at that point. Solar Flare, Spirit Bomb, which would not do anything against Yoruichi. It's too much positive energy, and she's nowhere near evil enough. She's not evil at all. So that Spirit Bomb's a no-go in this fight. And if he were to try to use it, which hypothetically, if it's his last resort, maybe. But she's so fast that she'd never let him use it. Not that it would work anyway. And as he brought up the Kaioken, I think he also has Destructo Disc under his belt at this point too, because he is kind of copying techniques. So, and again, sorry, if I'm going a lot, it's because I'm trying to catch my breath because my nose is clogged at the moment. The change in the temperature in my area caused so much cold, dry air that I've got that sinus cold going on there. That's mostly it's not even mostly in my throat. It's a little bit in my throat. My throat keeps drying out. But my throat's not even that sore. It's just all the drip in the back of my throat. Just, yeah. So I'm constantly coughing some crap up. But yeah, Goku should know. Goku at this point is easily, bar none, a planet buster. He could easily destroy the planet if he wanted to. Because if Vegeta, with just his finger, could blow a planet, hell, if King Vegeta, with a power of only 10,000, could blow up several planets at once, then it makes sense that Goku, just even with a base of 8,000, could blow the planet up. With Kaioken, he could easily take out a planet, probably a couple times over. Now, I don't think he could destroy a star, though. Goku's not a star buster at this point. Honestly, they never really kind of give you an idea of how strong you would have to be to destroy a star. Although, we could make an inference, or we could infer that a starbuster, because we did see in the Dragon Ball Z Cooler movie, hit not just a death ball, but a Kamehameha hit the sun. And the sun did blink out of existence for a bit, but then just start right back up. So you're talking about a level of power to destroy a star, I'm guessing, in the upper hundreds of millions then. At least if we're going by that logic. But regardless, and then we know Cell in the billions was a solar system buster. That's confirmed. So that'd be Goku. Yoruichi is a little hard to quantify because we actually still don't know everything about Yoruichi. Most prominently, we don't know what her Zanpakuto is or does. We know she has one. She was a captain. She had to have one. She knows that she has both Shikai and Bankai. The only hint, and I may redo a couple Zanpakuto theory videos at some point because we got the Zero Division. We got a little bit more information, stuff like that. The only thing we do know is that from a line from Can't Fear Your Own World, she claims that she fights better without it. This implies one of two things. One, she's actually not particularly that skilled. She probably relies on her speed and ferocity more than actual swordsmanship. Or it's a Shikai and Bankai ability, similar to like Soifon's Bankai, that just doesn't suit her style of fighting. It's just maybe so cumbersome. It's just maybe so cumbersome that she can't fight with it. But regardless, Yoruichi was the second division captain, and turned back to Pendulum Arc. We don't know how long she had been captain for, but she was captain. She is a master and probably the best hand-to-hand fighter in the entire Gotei 13. Oh, straight out. Like, the only ones who could probably rival her were Old Man Yama due to his experience. Maybe Soifon obviously could rival her, but she's still too inexperienced. And maybe Kisuke, but that's one's up on the tip because Kisuke is more of a strategist, a thinking man's fighter kind of thing. But he was also in that division, so he is a master hand-to-hand fighter as well. But she is a master at hand-to-hand fighter, knowing multiple techniques. She is also known as Flash Goddess Yoruichi, as she is one of the fastest characters in the entire series. We're going well beyond light speed. And we know they are confirmed when they're using Shimpo and dodging Ceros, they're going at light speed because Ceros are confirmed to be just beams of light. And on the fact, if you want another proof that these characters are moving at beyond light speeds, in Mayuri's fight with Pernida, Pernida's nerve, basically, his ability, if you don't know who Pernida is, he's one of the Quincy villains that you'll see in the third core coming up. I think it'll be the third core. He has the ability to shoot his nerves, warp your body, control your nerves, all that, and basically turn you into a meat all he wants. Well, he gets all of Mayuri's hand at one point, and Mayuri, within less than 2 seconds, did complete restructuring surgery on his arm to restructure the nerves in his body so Pernida couldn't control him. In under 2 seconds, he did that. If that's not light speed, I don't know what F is. And now they might say, oh, that's light speed reaction. Doesn't matter. That counts. And that's not even traveling abilities or combat abilities in terms of movement. That might be reflexes, but it's not movement. So Yoruichi is way beyond standard light speed, and she is the fastest among the main cast. So she is definitely in the light speed category, if not beyond. But as you can see in the background here, she doesn't just have hand-to-hand combat or super speed. She also has the ability to she's also a skilled Keto user, which is their spellcraft ability. We don't know what the limitation on her Keto knowledge actually is, like what the highest Keto she could use is, because we don't see her use a lot of actual Keto. We know she knows Keto, is highly proficient in it, but we never actually see her use it, really, except for like one time where she blasts Soy Phone when they're about to fight, like almost like a ki blast. But what she's famed for is her ability to use something called Shunko, which is basically the thing you're actually seeing in the background here, although this is an enhanced version of it. Shunko is a combination of hand-to-hand combat and Keto. What it does is it concentrates the Keto in the arms, the back, kind of like an aura almost for combat. And her takes the form of like lightning, basically, which is why I always kind of hypothesized that she had maybe a lightning-based Zanpakuto. However, we've only seen one lightning-based Zanpakuto. I think it was considered probably to be the strongest one. And I actually don't think this quite makes sense because her brother's Shunko takes the form of fire, and Soy Phone's takes the form of wind. And Soy Phone certainly doesn't have an elemental Zanpakuto. So I get the impression that this probably isn't has nothing to do with her Zanpakuto. But it takes the form of lightning, and it can just be used for like enhanced physical combat, destructive capabilities. I believe it's Shunko or Raiko, I believe it's called. I'm going to actually get the name of that one up, because it's cool. Basically, she's concentrating it on her back and forming these giant orbs of lightning that she can fire at the opponent for super destructive capabilities. Oh, excuse me. Oh, God. Sorry. Nose is so stuffy right now. My nose is so stuffy right now. Okay, come on. All right, I guess we're going to do it this way. We're going to do it this way. All right. So let's see. What was the name of that technique one more time now? There we go. She's also, by the way, carries certain weapons on her, like blades, things along those lines. She's also capable of turning into a cat, which is actually not going to be useful here. Well, technically it will be, but we'll get there in just a second. Okay, where was... Come on. Oh, come on, you stupid... come... It froze on me. It's because it's loading, it froze on me. And I was right at the point where I was going to... there we go. Okay, it's Shunko Raijin Senke. The lightning emitted from her back creates a circle of electricity in the shape of a Raijin drum behind her, as she unleashes a giant column of concentrated electricity to engulf the opponent. She has one other ability, though, in terms of Keto, in terms of her Shunko, which is Shunko Raiju Senke Shunryo Kabuku, or Kabukyo Senke. Which, if anyone has followed Yoruichi for any amount of time, you know that's where she gains the cat form. And basically kind of acts more like a cat. Her electricity is changing. I believe it's described as like 1,000 times per second or something, 48 times per second. She has basically the fickleness of a cat and is so like unpredictable. And she is unable to. Excuse me. Oh God. She's unable to control by anyone or her herself. As I said, beyond that though, like I said, she's a Keto master, has a degree of proficiency in healing magic. She can create barrier techniques. So she is just one of the more skilled and powerful individuals within Bleach's verse. So, how do I break down this fight? Oh God. I feel like something's about to come up. Not like, bleh, but like, snort, spit, all that kind of crap. How would I break down this fight? This is interesting. Let's say Yoruichi is observing the fight with the Saiyans. Somehow, some way, we see Goku gets involved. And she's like, oh, don't mind me. I'm just sitting here. It's like, who are you? It's like, oh, my name's Yoruichi. But you don't have to worry about that. And Goku, admittedly being a little stupid and battle hungry, is like, I'm looking for a fight. Might actually try to fight her. And it's like, wait, hold on now. And then she's like, fine, all right, guess we're doing this. And let's say right now Vegeta and Nappa are temporarily taking care of Goku could fight at full capacity. So we got to think of a scenario that they can fight in. So they start. Now I'm going to say right up front, Goku is the physically stronger of the two of these guys. But Yoruichi, I do think, surpasses this stage Goku in speed. I think she is faster than him right now. So but he is still insanely fast, and fast enough to keep up with her while she's using lower levels of speeds, definitely, and probably catch her. And I would argue, and see, now this might get debatable, argue that these two are probably on an even footing when it comes to hand-to-hand experience. Because A, Goku has trained all his life and he's a natural born fighter as a Saiyan. But Yoruichi is much older than he is. Despite her very youthful mid-20, early 30 appearance, Yoruichi is hundreds, if not maybe closing in on the 1,000-year-old mark. We don't know how old Yoruichi is. We actually don't. The only ones we really even have a gauge of how old they are Yamamoto, who we know is well over 2,000 years old. We know that Kyoraku and Ukitake are also probably well over 1,000 years old. Unohana is the second oldest captain apart from Yamamoto, so we know she's probably well over 1,000 years old. And yet Unohana looked like she was in her 30s. At most her late 40s. So Shinigami live a fucking long time. In fact, I believe Ichibei is not confirmed, but very heavily implied to be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years old. He still looks a lot younger than Yamamoto, but he's also got some other shit going on with him. So Shinigami don't normally die of old age. It's kind of the joke. It's kind of the thing we're going here. They basically just die when they retire, like when they get killed, or I have to believe they can die of old age, but it's just they live so long we've never heard of one dying of old age. They usually are taken out in some way, and so, excuse me. And so Yoruichi has way more combat experience than Goku does. No matter how long you really break down Goku's life, Yoruichi has more combat experience. But granted, the types of combat Goku's been doing really helps even that out. And Goku at this point in time has had a lot of fights and a lot of one-on-one duels, more or less. So they are probably pretty comparable in hand-to-hand combat with each other. However, Yoruichi's superior speed in this case is going to give her an edge over Goku to a certain degree because she's going to be able to tag him more, hit him with some Kido, maybe hit some Ryujukoro, which is one of the binding techniques. The one you see where it's the 5 gold lights striking someone in the abdomen, keeping them stuck. Hits him with that, but he breaks out of that using Kaioken, which is like, Kaio what? She gets cracked hard. Just, oh! Goku using Kaioken evens the playing field considerably because now he's amping his abilities by a certain amount of time, or a certain amount of multiplier. Times multiplier is what I meant. Goku's firing ki blasts off. She's countering. She goes into Shunko, which ups her physical abilities. Basically, kind of like her equivalent for Kaioken at this point. Not that it's doing a multiplier in the same vein, but still. Goku goes triple Kaioken. They're clashing. All of this would pretty much lead to Goku having to go into Kaioken times 4 if he absolutely had to. Yoruichi going into her, let me get the name out of it again. Cat one. Shunko Raiju Senkei Shunryu Kokubuyo Senkei. Now, I think I pronounced that one pretty well that time. They're clashing. Yoruichi eventually would fall out of the form, though, because she doesn't like taking that form unless she absolutely has to. Goku might be pushing her enough that he has to, especially if he's firing a Kaioken at times for Kamehameha. Ultimately, though, Goku's Kaioken fades. Yoruichi is still alive, and she's able to pretty much just get out of there. And then she just starts binding him down with Kido. I think in a battle of attrition here, Yoruichi is going to win. She is the faster of the two. She has more combat experience, and she has actually just more under her belt overall. Specifically, she has both attacking Kido and defensive/binding Kido. So she'd be able to eventually pin him down, especially when he's tired himself out, with the ability to just hold him in place, bind him. Excuse me. Oh God. Bind him. And then eventually just knock his ass clean out. So ultimately, I would probably go with Yoruichi, but Goku in Saiyan Saga would still be a very formidable threat to her. He'd still be able to move at relative light speeds. I do think she's well beyond light speed herself, but relative light speeds. He definitely is the stronger and I think even more destructive of the two. So if he does hit her with an attack, she's going to feel it. If he hits her with, say, a times 3 or times 4 Kamehameha, then she could be killed. I think he could kill her. But the problem would be catching her. I think she's too fast overall, and she has too much versatility in her arsenal for Goku at this point in time in this series to catch her. So I'm going to go Yoruichi, but I definitely can see there are avenues he could win in this scenario. I think she's just got the majority. Let me know what you think, though. If you think I'm totally dead wrong, let me know in the comments below. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you for the next one. And hopefully, I will do the what if today. I'm behind on the what if. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.